morning. I hope all has been well. I headed for a meeting with an international NGO client, one of the clients, and we are getting to the last stage of handing in their job. And a matter crossed my mind about how do you bounce back in times of trouble, when you go through trauma, when you go through a defeat in career, when you go through business downturn. Maybe you have closed a business, you've run out of cash, you've run out of resources, or you have been abandoned in a relationship. All this cause trauma. Behavioral scientists suggest some simple strategies on how you can bounce back. The attitude of bouncing back. Do not judge me by success. Judge me by how many times I fall down and got up again. That was by Nelson Mandela. Don't judge me on how I have been successful, but judge me on how often I bounce back. So there are a couple of strategies, tactics that you can use to bounce back after a trauma, after a relationship has gone bust, after after you have been sacked, you have been laid off. The first one is acknowledge your emotions, what you call the uncertainty effect. What do I do now? That is the first question you should ask yourself, and you should not have analysis paralysis. Also, you should not mind the spotlight effect. What will my folks say? What will my friends say? Don't be stuck in the spotlight misery about what people are saying. People don't care about you. They care about themselves 24 hours. So they are not thinking about you. They only probably think about you in a fleet of a moment, and they move on to other issues that are bogging them down. So acknowledge your emotions, acknowledge the uncertainty, and move on. The second strategy that you can adopt is gain relative perspective, what you call the contrast effect. It minimizes potential overreaction. You have only failed in career. You haven't probably failed in your family. I've been speaking to a HR executive for the last couple of weeks who is going through some tough times. And I just was trying to help them acknowledge that it was through some mentorship counseling, executive counseling sessions. And I was helping them to acknowledge that if they have failed in career or things are not up on career, it doesn't mean that you have failed on family. If something has happened around your relationships, your social dimension, it doesn't mean that you have failed in your career. So keep perspective. One area not performing well at any one given time doesn't mean the other buckets are not working. Your emotions could be good. Your physical health is top-notch. Or when you are sick and you still have a job, or you have a business, or you have a family around you, then you should appreciate. So gain a relative perspective. The third strategy that you can adopt is adopt a positive mindset. A rejection, a downturn is a new opportunity. Ask yourself, what is the lesson? What am I learning from this particular rejection? Maybe this was not meant for you. A better opportunity is coming your way. So retain a positive mindset. John F. Kennedy said that change is a law of life, that it comes every day, every hour, every moment. So it is for you to embrace change and to take that failure, that downturn, that relationship failure as an opportunity to bounce back, to boomerang back into action. And what they normally say, dress up and show up, or clean up and go back to the market in the local slang. The fourth strategy or tactic that you can adopt is forgive yourself. Have some self-compassion and some self-care. Some of us we are very tough on ourselves. Forgiving yourself doesn't mean that you compromise on your standards or your expectations or your dreams, but it means that you are human, and human is to err. I was listening to a clip by one of the famous movie actor called Denzel Washington, and he was saying he's just human. He was being asked a question, what do you want to tell any man who looks at you as a hero when you are doing your movies? And he said, I'm just a man, and I'm likely to be flawed, and I will make mistakes. So forgive yourself. Treat yourself with kindness, and this improves your resilience. It also improves your self-esteem and strengthens your ability to bounce back. So another tactic is forgive yourself. This can also be done through meditation. For those ones who are religious and spiritual, you can do it through prayer. It can also be done through mindfulness. Another tactic that you can adopt or strategy to bounce back after a calamity, after a failure, is put it in yourself. When it is gone, move on. Novak Djokovic, one of the great tennis player, used to say that live in the present, forget the past, and the future will happen. So forget what has happened. Live in the moment now. This particular moment you are alive. There are many probably who died. Yesterday I met a young man. He has been running a coffee house for the last 7 years. Yesterday night they broke fire. The day before yesterday, that is the night before yesterday, they broke fire in the cafe at around 11 p.m. He had closed around 9. He was called by security. He told them to break the window, get in. It was coming from the kitchen. Try to salvage. There has been damage because when I went in, because I had a early meeting yesterday in the morning with one of my close people, we found the place was in disaster, and they were looking disheveled, they were looking lost. And because this man I was meeting was a spiritual man, he was a priest, I told him to say a prayer even if they don't belong to his church, because there are 7 workers, and the owner was shedding tears. He was emotionally distraught. It's a business he has run in one of the greatest malls in Nairobi, and for the last 7 years, and fire comes through, and he was disheveled. So and in fact, the priest made a prophetic message that come next week. Yesterday was Thursday. Come next week, he want to come for a cup of coffee, and it will be on the house, because he is assured the business will be back, that that particular cafe will bounce back. That is the attitude. Forget the past, live in the present, and the future will just happen. The last tactic that I would wish to share about bouncing back when you have a calamity, when you have a problem, when you have a business failure, you have a career issue, is reflect, relearn, and reset. So reset, get into a reset mode. You know, I remember sometimes you used to have some radio cassettes, and if you have not heard the song well, you do what you used to call rewinding. So rewind, refocus, relearn, take the lessons and reset. The secret to change is to focus all our energy not on the failing or the failed past, but on building the new. Not on the failed old yourself, but building something new. So reflect, relearn, and reset. a bonus point on how to bounce back after a failure as we come to a conclusion. And remember, if you have not subscribed to this particular channel, just hit the subscription button so that anytime you upload some new work, you are the first one to be able to consume it. So the last bonus point I would like to share is recalibrate expectations. Losing a face is a part of life. It is part of who we are. Some of us have also lost faces. Either we have left employment, social opportunities have bypassed us, and that doesn't mean that you will not live again. And that's the same encouragement I was giving as this HR executive, that right now there could be some things she has lost in her life, but she'll bounce back, and 5 years down the line she'll have forgotten, and life probably will be much better. Not probably, it will be much better. So surround yourself with positive people, especially when you feel you are downcast. They have an influence. We are the 5 people we spend our life with. We become the 5 people we hang around. Show me your friends and I'll tell you where you are headed. So assume the attitude of bouncing back. God bless.